Welcome to this episode of the DJ Erica podcast. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you're on YouTube, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Make sure you comment and share, okay? Every time you guys comment and share, that means that it will put my video in a high recommendation so more people can see my video. So I really would appreciate it if you guys took the time just to make sure you guys hit the like button and comment below along with subscribing. Of course, everybody else, you guys can listen to me. If you can't watch me right now, you can listen to me on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, along with iHeart and much more. So, man, let's talk about Jussie Smollett, okay? Everyone knows who he is. He is a former actor on Empire. He just recently lost his job. They did terminate him due to the scandal in which he has been recharged again for after having his case dismissed. Now, let's talk about this, okay? Jussie Smollett, back last year, beginning of last year, it was like January 2019, he staged a fake attack, allegedly, with two Nigerian brothers, who that he framed and stated that they were actually two MAGA hat supporters and Trump supporters who are white supremacists, who attacked Jussie Smollett in sub-zero temperature in Chicago after he decided to leave a Subway, I guess a Subway or Subway restaurant, okay, at like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. Now, he had all this publicity around it. He had news interviews. Everyone was feeling bad for him. You know, you had Lee Daniels going on social media saying, you know, we're going to fight for Jussie. You know, they're not going to get, you know, we're going to catch the people who did this to you, this, and this. And then the whole story started to unfold, okay? Now, at first, of course, I believed him because I believe, you know, Jussie Smollett at the time had a really good reputation, you know what I mean? He is, you know, at the time he was. He still is alive, so he's a good actor. For me, I enjoyed his work. And at the time, he had a good reputation because he was on Empire, you know what I mean? And along with that, he had a few movie roles. Of course, he sings and performs. He had his own singles and projects and stuff out. So it was just, it just didn't seem, it seemed far-fetched for him to feel that he needed to do such a stunt for publicity. But as the story unfolded, it looked as if Jussie Smollett actually did stage a fake attack for him to get more publicity, okay? Now, two Nigerian brothers who used to actually be extras in the show Empire was actually allegedly hired, and this is what they told the Chicago Police Department, that Jussie Smollett hired them in order to orchestrate this fake attack. Now, what they were supposed to do in this video footage, they were supposed to go into a store, buy a noose, get MAGA hats, get some hoodies, everything else that was needed. I think he even had paint said it was thrown on him and everything else, and fake this attack, okay? And pretty much Jussie Smollett paid them off for it. Now, of course, things started to get a little bit suspicious because the story didn't add up. Like, who do you think who do you know, just in general, whether it's black or white, is trying to be outside in sub-zero temperature in the middle of January at 2 to 3 a.m. in the morning looking for somebody to beat up? Now, that's black and gay. Now, I'm not trying to be rude or seem nasty about the whole situation towards Jussie, but it's just, he has to be stupid. He had to have been stupid. I mean, really, the story itself just didn't seem to make sense. Okay, if you're outside in sub-zero temperature, more than likely you bundled up, which means you probably already have a hoodie on, gloves. Shoot, sometimes people wear face masks and everything else. So he's saying that someone seen him all the way across the street and said, hey, aren't you the F from Empire? Okay, so this person walks across the street and then they start to beat him up. So it just didn't make sense based off of the time, the temperature, the day. It just didn't add up. Okay, so basically he was caught, he was busted, but to this day he still says that he didn't lie about the attack. Well, he actually was lucky enough to get the charges dropped after like a month or two of speculation of exactly what would happen to him when they punished him for making such a staging a fake attack and things of that nature. Well, unfortunately for Jussie Smollett, after they decided to drop the charges as of this week or last week, the Chicago Police Department has decided to charge him again and indict him again due to making false police reports to the Chicago Police Department and basically wasting their time and money on a fake investigation. Now, Jussie Smollett has yet to actually comment about it, but it is known through the media that this is what's going on. Now, for me, personally, what I think Jussie did was goofy and stupid, but they're saying that he could get up to 3 years in prison, and I just don't feel that him getting 3 years in prison is actually, fits the punishment to the crime. I mean, how many people in the world do we see of different race, like, of white people, making false police reports on young black men or young black women, and nothing happens to them. The police just brush it off. We see it on social media all the time. Videos go viral when things like this happen. I remember that it was a trend and topic about a woman who tried to call the police, or did call the police, on a black family who was having a barbecue and like a family reunion at the park. And nothing happened to her or other people that I've seen on social media who actually done the same thing. Now, granted, Jussie Smollett is a celebrity, and I guess they would say that he's supposed to be held to the highest regard. But I personally don't think he should be locked up in prison for 3 years. I don't think that. I feel like if they're going to punish him, I believe that they should just fine him. Fine him like $10,000 or whatever the cost was that they had to put out financially to look into the investigation. Because once once the investigation was completed and they knew that it was fake, it's not that big of a deal to me because no one was actually hurt. You know what I mean? There's no one else that's in jail. The Nigerian brothers is free. The only thing that he did was basically just annoy the police department. So I just feel like maybe he should just pay a $10,000, $20,000 fine, which I'm pretty sure he can pay. To me, I think he should probably just, like I said, pay a fine. $10,000, $20,000, hit him in the pocketbooks a little bit, and let him go about his way. Now, for a lot of people, they think that him getting this slap on the wrist isn't a good thing. And, of course, this story has been discussed on various other TV shows. Now, on the recent episode of The Real, Jeannie Mai and... I think it's named Jeannie Mai. I'll be butchering her name. I'm sorry. I really don't watch the show, but I think it's Jeannie Mai. She dates Young Jeezy, and of course Amanda Seales, and most people know who she is because she's like, she does commentary. She's an actress. She does comedy, and she's really for the black movement and really about black progression in certain things and aspects. And she was recently added to the show to add some spice and I guess add some more blackness to The Real in regards to different issues that goes on within the black community. And I guess, of course it's Black History Month, so why not have her on the show? Well, now they had a discussion and it seems as if Jeannie Mai was basically saying that Jussie Smollett should serve a full term and go to jail over the situation for 3 years. And it's funny because I personally don't agree with the fact that she thinks that it's okay to lock him up for 3 years over something so goofy. And honestly, he didn't really do anything. You know what I mean? And basically Amanda Seales was saying that she don't feel like the punishment would match the crime either way. They should just give him a slap on the wrist, act like it never happened. I don't even think they should even find the man. That's how she's feeling because there's so many people out there who has gotten away with doing things to black people and nothing has happened to them, calling the police, making false reports on black people and other minorities, and nothing has happened to them. Now, check out this audio, and then I'm going to basically go into it and discuss how I actually feel further about Amanda Seales' comments. Because, I agree, but then I also don't agree on certain things that she said.
Chicago politics is ruthless, okay? And I'm telling you, this is more about Kim Foxx and that situation than Jussie. They're just using Jussie as a scare. Come on, y'all. It was no victims. They can't really prove it.
Thank you.
Everything was
Even if it was a hoax, this is really happening all the time. And even if it was a hoax for the sake of bringing attention to this, then I'm like, that's low-key noble. Like, I'm just, I'm at my wit's end about us censoring situations like this and wanting to make people have to pay. And it's like, Emmett Till's accuser was alive. I think she's still alive.
Yep.
Yes,
and
yes.
this young man died, and she announced that she was lying about it. They should have put the shackles on her that day, and she's walking around. So no one was hurt in this situation. Nobody. You know what they're mad about? Their time, their resources being
and the
used.
money that's
Taxpayers'
spent. Yes,
resources.
sure.
Taxpayers' resources are being used every day to imprison people who have done nothing but be an addict. So I don't want to hear about Jussie Smollett.
Okay, but
So
I,
what
but
do
I do
you
want
feel-
to.
what do you-
Is there an
Jussie's not
answer?
stopping
But I
that.
just want to ask.
Jussie's not
I just
causing
want to
it.
ask because Jussie is it is huge nationwide news because he is famous. So if it was a hoax, what do you think is the correct punishment? And do you think he should be
They got
punished?
murderers on probation, Gina.
Sure. But I'm asking about Jussie Smollett. I'm asking about that because you said it was
There's
low-key noble. I just want to
It
understand.
literally should be like,
He should be
oh,
applauded.
Damn.
Oh.
They got smacks on the wrist for all these people, and they can't give a smack on the wrist to Jussie Smollett, like, because they're saying that it's a whole big thing. I don't believe it.
Sure.
And we look at black men who are constantly getting the book thrown at them all the time. All the time. All the time.
So this one should be like.
So I'm like, yo, all the false outcry, it's just because he's famous and partly because he's gay as well. And I feel like it's a bunch of BS, and I'm not going to sit here and at this table and act like, you know, he should be handled the way that he should be handled. Like, they're not handling people who need to be handled the way they should be handled, so why are they trying to do it together?
That is absolutely true.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's okay to also stage a hate crime.
It's not okay.
We can't ever do that. So we have to handle this accordingly as well.
What do you think should happen?
I think that if 3 years sounds about right, but something has to be
Girl.
done.
I feel like they should figure out if it happened or if it didn't.
Hold on.
Because that's honestly.
You think
what
this
does that
man should
mean?
be in prison for 3 years for a hoax?
First of all, we
staging
know
hate
that
crime?
if he was actually in prison for 3 years, he's not going to do 3 years. I
No,
think that he
you said 3
absolutely
years
should-
sounds about
No,
right.
he needs to be punished. So I think that at least if you stage a hate crime, like. I know that happens all the time.
But we don't know if
Amanda,
that's
we
true.
Can't say that that's okay.
That's
to
what
do.
I'm saying.
If,
But
I'm
what
saying
you're saying, if it is true.
If this is all
That's what
alleged,
she's
you guys,
saying.
we have no news.
Yeah.
But obviously this happens everywhere, and this all should be handled accordingly. But we can't just let this slide because
They are letting people who do real hate crime slide every day. Dylan Roof was...
So, of course, checking out that clip right there, you hear Genuine and, of course, you hear Amanda Seales going at it. And for me personally, I think, okay, that Amanda Seales shouldn't be comparing the Jussie Smollett situation to Emmett Till, because those are two totally different situations in regards to white person lying on behalf of a black person. And it's like, because Jussie is actually a black person lying about being attacked, okay, and trying to stage a hate crime and using his sexuality to take advantage of the situation and say it's because he's black, it's because he's gay, that these people allegedly attacked him, when it comes out that the whole situation was fake. Okay, so I comparing that to Emmett Till a little bit is really, it kind of missed the mark for me, because granted, what happened to him was a totally different situation. He was a 14-year-old boy. There was a white woman who made a false accusation about him whistling at her, and then he was murdered, horrifically murdered and killed and gouged and thrown into the river. And, it was of epic proportion. And there's nothing that could compare the two of them together there's nothing that could be compared to that situation, because he was savagely murdered because someone lied on him. That's true. But Jussie Smollett is just risking to possibly go to jail for 3 years for him lying on just everything that happened. He didn't even actually blame another person. He pretty much just brought everything literally on himself. It's not as if he was an innocent person and he didn't do anything. It's been pretty clear that he definitely staged this whole attack, made a fake attack, did all of this just for publicity. So I can't really agree with Amanda on that, but I see the direction that she's going, and I like the fact that she's on the rail. Now, Jenny Mine, she seems so quick to say, throw this man in jail for 3 years. It's like, okay, pump the brakes. She's coming from the perspective of supporting the LGBTQ community, which is fine. But to me, on a black end, him being locked up for 3 years is a bit extreme when you have current people that literally done things like we had the college admissions scandal, and literally the females got off scot-free dang near. They got 10 days in prison, and then they basically kept it pushing. Gave them a couple of fines, and I feel like if that punishment matched the crime, then I feel like Jussie Smollett should at the least, maybe if he hasn't already spent time in jail, give him maybe a week of jail and fine him the most. But I don't think he should be locked up because he had a lapse in judgment and decided to stage this attack because he felt like he was cornered. Maybe he needs to come to counseling, maybe some mental evaluations will do, but I don't feel like it's really necessary for him to actually go to jail for 3 years. You know what I'm saying? So you guys tell me what you guys personally think about the subject in regards to Jussie Smollett, okay, and that whole situation, because it's just stupid, you know what I mean? And it kind of it makes black people look bad, it makes the LGBT community look bad. It just makes everything just look real bad. And hopefully by this time, I think the thing that kind of gets me is the fact that Jussie still to this day claims he's innocent. I don't understand what's making him say that. He already lost a job. I wish he would just move forward, say that he did it, pay his fine, and keep it pushing.